Hello friends, welcome to Selenium WebDriver tutorial. Today we are going to see XPath for beginners. In XPath, we are going to see what is XPath, type of XPath, XPath nodes, functions and operators, finally XPath Axes. Let's start. What is XPath? XPath is a syntax or a language for finding any element on the web page using XML path expression. Basically, XPath is defined using XML path expression. We use this XML path expression to find the web element on the web page. The syntax for XPath is /tag name opening square bracket @attribute equals to value closing square bracket. / means select the current node. Current node means the node that will act as your reference node. Then tag name. You have to write the name of the tag of the reference node. The node that will act as the start of your path expression or that will act as your current or reference node, we have to write the name of its tag. @ denotes the attribute. So when you are writing the attribute, you have to prefix it with @ symbol. Then you have to write the attribute name that you are going to use for identifying the element on the web page. Equals to value, that is the value of the attribute. It is very simple. Identify your reference node, then enter the tag name of the reference node, then you identify the attribute, you enter the attribute name and its value. That completes your XPath. Let's go to types of XPath. There are two types of XPath, absolute XPath and relative XPath. Absolute XPath begins with the root node and is prefixed with /. In absolute XPath, we write the path from the topmost node, that is the root node, to the element node that we want to search on the web page. The syntax is /, path from the root node, then the attribute condition. Whereas in relative XPath, any node can act as current node or the reference node. The relative XPath is prefixed with /. The syntax is // tag name and then the attribute condition. The difference between absolute and relative XPath is that in absolute XPath we start from the root node, whereas in relative XPath we can start from any node. We use // in absolute XPath, whereas we use // in relative XPath. In order to have better understanding of the difference between absolute and relative XPath, we can consider a web application which is dynamic. The absolute XPath and relative XPath for finding a particular web element on that dynamic web application will work fine. But when the structure of the dynamic web application changes, the absolute XPath will fail to locate the web element, because in absolute XPath, the path from the root node to the element node is changed, so it will not be able to locate the correct web element. Whereas for relative XPath, we are directly locating the element node, so it is not dependent upon the path. Therefore, it will be able to successfully locate the web element. Let's consider an HTML code in which I have a table. Under the table, I have 3 rows, tr1, tr2 and tr3. For tr1 and 2, I have 2 columns each, td1, td2. In row 2 as well, I have td1, td2. For row 3, I have only 1 column. The UI corresponding to this HTML code is this. There are 2 labels, username and password. Then their corresponding input text box, and then the submit button for login. Now, if I have to write the absolute XPath for input text box corresponding to username, my absolute XPath will start from the root node. So that will be HTML node /HTML /body /div /table /tbody /tr. Now there are 3 tr, but since my input text box for username comes under the first tr, as you can see, input max length equals to 60, name equals to username. So it comes under the first tr, so I am going to write index 1. else it will select all the 3 rows. So tr1 slash under tr row I want to select the td2. So slash td2, under td2 there is only one input tag which is input. So I am going to write the slash input. Here attribute condition is optional. If you write or if you don't write, you will get the same result because there is only one input tag under td. If there were multiple, then it was mandatory to write the attribute condition. Now, in order to achieve the same output, but using relative XPath, how we can write it? We can write it as /table. Now, any node can act as a reference node. So, for this, I am using table as my reference node. So, /table/tbody/tr1, td2 and input. Similar to the absolute, just that my reference node is table. Now, I can directly access the input element rather than from table because I can make my input node to act as reference node. So I can also write my relative XPath as /input @name equals to username. Now the attribute name is in the input tag and its value is username. So I have used that attribute for finding the input text box element on the web page. So this completes the type of XPath. Let's move to type of nodes. In HTML document, we have different types of tags and nodes. So we have classified them into different types of XPath nodes. There are 7 types of XPath nodes: root, element, attribute, text, comment, processing instruction and namespace. Now in order to have better understanding of this node, I have considered an example in which I am going to show which node will be the root, which node will act as element and the others. Now in this, let's start with the root node. Root node contains the entire document. So in this example, bookstore acts as the root node because it contains other nodes such as book, title, author, year, price. Everything comes under bookstore. Element node, it represents the web element. It is defined between lesser than and /greater than symbol. It can contain other elements, text, attributes or mix of all. For example, here book acts as a element node, but it can contain the other elements such as title, author, year and price. Yes. And it can have text and attribute. For example, book node is the element node which contains the attribute category whose value is cooking. So category equals to cooking is the attribute. So we can have element node mixture of text, attribute and other element node. Next is attribute. Attribute always defines a particular element node. So it defines the element node. So in this example, category is the attribute. Language equals to EN, that is English, is again an attribute. So book and title are a form of attribute node because the book and title contain the attributes. Text contains text from an element. So any element node that has the static text inside it defines the text node. For example, title, author, year, price all contain text such as everyday Italian, it is a text. For year 2005, it is a text. Price 30, it is a text. So this becomes the text node. Comment. Comment are always used to provide additional information about a node or about the document. So anything that is useful but you don't want to be a part of the coding, you write in the comment. So it is always enclosed between these two symbols, that is lesser than, exclamation mark, hyphen, hyphen and hyphen, hyphen, greater than symbol. This is the comment, is an example of the comment node. Processing instruction, it defines the XML version and the character encoding. The first line in my example, which is $XML, that is known as processing instruction because it contains version and the character encoding. So the complete string between the $XML and the closing question mark is your processing instruction. Namespace. For namespace, I'm going to consider another example. Sometimes we have two methods, having the same element name. So when you want to access the element, it gives you the name conflict error because it is not able to locate which element to access because there are two elements with the same name in two different methods. To avoid this name conflict issue, we define the method under different namespace. For example, so the value of https www.school.com/furniture, this becomes the namespace. So for this table, I have created a namespace. In this way, we can write the namespace for particular method or element or the table. XPath functions. We are going to see three XPath functions. First one is starts with. As we know, we use attribute and its value as a condition to find the element on the web page. Therefore, starts with function also takes two parameters which are attribute and value. When we use starts with method, we do not require to enter the complete value of the string. We can enter the starting substring value. Let's consider an example, but before that, let's see the syntax. The syntax is /tag name starts with @attribute and the value. Let's consider an example where I want to locate the username input text box. The corresponding HTML tag is input max length equals to 60, name equals to username. So the XPath will be /tag name. The tag name is input for this element. So input starts with @attribute and we are using name attribute. So @name. Then its value. Now we do not require to enter the complete value of the attribute. We can enter the substring. But the substring should be the starting substring of the attribute value. So I have written user. You can write you can write use, you can write complete name, but it should be the starting exact substring. This will locate your input text box for the username. The second method is text function. The text function selects all the text node of the current node. We have seen text node. Text node is a node that has text and it can be a part of the element node. Now how we can apply condition to the text function? We can write it as text function equals to value. Now what will happen here is the text function on the left hand side will return all the text node. Then it will match each text of the text node with the value on the right hand side. When it gets the exact text match, it will return the corresponding element. And therefore, we will be able to locate that element on the web page. The syntax is /tag name text function equals to value. In this example, if I want to locate the username label, I need to enter the exact username text. I cannot enter partial. So I have written my XPath as /tag name, which is td, text function equals to the username : and there is a space between the username. U is caps, N is caps, so it should be exact text match. This will return the username label of the web page. The last function is contains. We find the element that matches particular text. Contains method takes two parameters. Basically, it means that first parameter contains the second parameter. When this condition is satisfied by any element on the web page, we get that element as the output. The syntax says as /tag name contains @attribute value. So the attribute contains the value. If that is true, you will be able to find the corresponding element that matches this condition. Example. Same example, if you want to find the input text box for the username, how can I write the XPath? I can write it as /tag name, which is input, then contains @name. Now you can enter the substring here, but that should be again the exact text match of the substring. So I have written as name. Now this is the difference between start with and contains. Both can be used for finding the element by providing the substring rather than complete value of the attribute. But in start with function, we have to use the starting substring, whereas there is no such condition with the contains function. You can enter the starting, mid or the ending part of your attribute value in contains function. Now we will write XPath using these functions. So let's inspect this username input text box. We got the corresponding HTML which says name equals to username. So I'm going to write the relative XPath here. This is the absolute XPath under the file path tab. I'm going to write absolute XPath using the starts with function. So // tag name is input, then starts with function @attribute, which is name here. So name, then we have to enter the value. So I do not need to enter the complete string. I'll enter only user as my value and I click enter. When I click enter, I get one matching node. It has highlighted it correctly. Now let's use text function. For text function, I'm going to use password label. So for that, I need to write // your tag is font, so font, then the text function. I need to write the condition. Now copy this value. It is always safe to copy and paste it in the XPath rather than typing it, because it may happen that you miss some letter or space and then it will not be able to find that element. Then closing and enter. It has located the password label. Now I'm going to use contain function for again finding the username input box. As I already know the attribute and its value, I can simply go on writing as input contains @name attribute, and I'm going to use value as name, the same it was in my example. It should be round bracket, then round bracket and then square bracket. Now when I click enter, it should highlight the username input text box. So click and it has highlighted it correctly. Let's see XPath operators. In this we are going to cover 3 operators. First operator is OR operator. In OR we have 2 conditions, condition 1 and condition 2. When either of the one condition is true, we are able to locate the element on the web page. The syntax is // tag name @attribute1 equals to value or attribute2 equals to value. So we are using 2 conditions, and for that we require 2 attributes. Let's consider the same example that we considered previously, and in this I want to locate the submit button. So the HTML code corresponding to the submit button is input type equals to image, name equals to submit, and then the source. Here I can use type and name as my 2 attributes, and then I can write 2 conditions using them. Therefore my XPath will be // input @type. Type is my first attribute and then its value @type equals to image, or my second attribute which is name. So the condition will be @name equals to submit. So when my either of the one condition, either type condition or name condition is true, I will be able to get the corresponding element as my output. I will be able to locate that element on the web page. The second operator is AND. For this, both conditions should be true. So the syntax is similar, just that we need to replace the OR operator with the AND operator. So // tag name, first condition, and then second condition. We can also write the same thing in different format, which says // tag name first condition, then opening square bracket second condition. So there is no AND. So what I have done is I have considered the same thing, that is locating the submit button, For that, I have just replaced the OR operator with the AND operator. When both the condition is satisfied, then only it will be able to locate the submit button. The last operator is union operator. It returns union of two node sets. What do you mean by node sets? Node sets are nothing but the XPath or the XPath that retrieves a particular element node. Now we can perform operation on two XPath by using union operator. The syntax is /tag name1, then union operator, which is the single line, vertical line, then in /tag2. Let's consider the example where I want to retrieve the username label as well as the username input text box. So for that, my first condition will be to retrieve the username label. Then my second XPath will be for retrieving the username input text box. So my first XPath will be /td, that is a tag name, text function equals to username. This will retrieve the username label. Now I have applied the union operator. Then the second XPath. My second XPath will be /input @name equals to username. Now this will return the input text box of the username. Let's write XPath using operators. So first I am going to inspect this sign in button. I got the corresponding HTML, and this I have name attribute whose value is login. So I am going to use this as a condition in my OR. So how can I write my XPath? I can write it as /, then the tag name is input. Then you have to write your condition. Now you require two conditions, therefore you require two attributes. Now you can use the same attribute as well but apply two different values. However, I am going to use name and type attribute for my OR condition. So @name equals to login, or second condition is type @type equals to image. Now click enter. So it has highlighted the sign in button. You can verify it by inspecting some other element, for example say this, and then select all, delete it, control paste. It should select the sign in button. Yes, it has highlighted the sign in button. Now let's use AND operator here. Then also we should be able to locate this sign in button. Now in order to verify that, I'm going to cut it and again inspect some other element, because we are using the same element to locate using AND OR operator both. So I'm going to paste this and click enter, and it has highlighted the sign in button. So it is working perfect. Now I'm going to use union operator to get password and input text box as my output. So I'm going to inspect this password element, and under that I have this password input text box HTML tag as well. So select all, delete. So you need to write your first XPath. So that will be /font, then the text value, because it is label. It does not have any attribute as such that we can use. So I'm going to copy this text and paste it here. Now I'm going to apply union operator and then write my second XPath. So for second XPath, I'm going to write it as input @name equals to password. You can copy as well, then close it. Now when I click enter, it should highlight password label as well as password input text box. It has highlighted both the elements on the web page. XPath Axes. It is the most important topic in XPath as well as Selenium automation. Let's see what is XPath Axes. An axis indicates which nodes relative to the context node should be included in the search. It basically means when you search an element with respect to the current node, you have to decide in which direction you should move so that you can locate the element successfully. So the direction is decided by the axis. Searching in XML document begins at the context node in the XPath tree. What is XPath tree? When we inspect the element on the web page, we see the corresponding HTML code. Now, sometimes the HTML code is difficult to understand. So, the easy method is to convert the HTML code into the tree format. And this tree format is called as XPath because the tree is now used for generating your XPath expression for locating the element. There are 13 XPath axes: self, child, parent, ancestor, ancestor or self, descendant, descendant or self, following, preceding, following sibling, preceding sibling, attribute and namespace. So we are going to see all the 13 XPath axes with example, and we are going to understand how this axis can be used for locating the element. Let's see the syntax for writing XPath axis. It is similar to the regular XPath that we write, just that we have something extra appended after the general XPath syntax. The syntax is // tag name attribute equals to value, / axis name, : node test, and then predicate. So basically, tag name attribute equals to value. This first section will be deciding which node will act as your context node. Once you have decided your current node, then you have to decide which axis you have to use. So based on the direction and the relationship between the nodes, you go on deciding the axis, and then you have to mention the axis name, the self, child or parent. Then : node test. Here it indicates what type of node you want to select. Once your current node is decided, now you have to move into a particular direction that is decided by axis. Once the direction is decided, in that direction you will have different types of nodes with different tags. So you have to mention the tags so that you can decide out of all the output which of the nodes you want to select. Once that selection of the list is done, then you can filter the list by applying some conditions. XPath tree. Here I am going to show how to convert the HTML code into the XPath tree. So let's consider our example that we have seen previously. Now here the root node is table. So our XPath tree will start with the table. Under table we have a child called tbody. So we are going to make a child under tbody under XPath tree. Now under tbody there are 3 children, tr1, tr2, tr3, 3 rows. So we are going to create 3 children under tbody. Under first tr, under first row, we have 2 data cells. First data cell is the username. Second data cell has a input child. Now under second row also we have 2 data cell, and under third row we have only 1 data cell, which we have created on the right hand side. First has 2, second has 2, and third has only 1 data cell. The first TD is username, and the second TD has a child of type input. The third TD is password, and the fourth TD has the child of input type, and the fifth TD also has a child of input type. So we are going to make the corresponding child under TD, and this completes our XPath tree. Let's see XPath Axes. Here I am going to use XML tree that we just created to understand XPath Axes. The first axis is self. As the name indicates, it will return the current node. The syntax is // tag name attribute equals to value / self : then the tag of the node. Let's consider an example. / input @name equals to username / self : input. So here I have this input tag under which I have the attribute name equals to username. Then I am saying / self means this particular node. Then I am saying input. So input is what? The tag of this node. So I have to write input. So the output of this will be input name equals to user, that is username input text box. The second access is child. Child will return all the children in the current node. Syntax is similar, just that we have to write child : tag name. Now if I consider this example where I am saying tbody, so where is the tbody? It is here. Then /tr1, so I have 1 2 3, so I am saying this tr1. It's child, so it has two children, td1 td2. It will return all the children. Now I am saying the tag name. In this I have written the tag td because the tag for tr children is td. So when I say td, it will return both the children. So the output will be td username as well as the input text box. So it has written the username label and input text box. Now the third access is following. In following, it will select all the nodes that appear after the context node in the source document. So if we have a current node, any node that appears after the current node will be selected in the following access. Now what type of node we cannot select? We cannot select the descendant node. We cannot select the attribute or namespace node. So these are the three types of node that will not come under following. The syntax will be similar, just that following : tag name. Now in this XML tree, if I consider an example of td, that is here. Now how many td's are there? There are 5 td's. Now I have applied a condition that the text should be equals to username. So I have only one td for which the text is username. Now following of this td will be what? The following of this td will be everything that falls after td. So this td, the tr as well, anything that comes after the td will be under the following. Now what I am saying it is : input. Now under this complete following section that I have highlighted, how many nodes have input as the tag? I have 3, that is username, password and the submit button. So I will have all these 3 as my output. Let's consider one more example. In this example I am saying // table body, which is this. Then I am saying tr3, so 1 2 3. So this is the node that will be selected. Under tr3 I have a node td. Then I am saying following, so any node that comes after this node td will be the output of our XPath. td node is our current node and there is no other node after td. This node input is a child. It is not the following node. As we said, we cannot select the descendant or child node. So input will not be the output in the following. Then I am saying input. Since there is no following, there is no question of selecting input type node. So your output will be no matches, as input is child node of the current node. Let's write XPath using this access. For that, I will first launch the fire path. So function f12. Now I'm going to try to locate this username input text box using self access. So our first access was self. So we'll start with the self. So first we'll inspect this element. It is done. Now it is giving me absolute XPath here. But I do not require the absolute XPath. We are going to use the relative XPath. So select all and delete it. We got the corresponding HTML code highlighted here. So first we will write code for locating the context node and then we will append self. So // what is the tag here? The tag is input. So input, then the condition here I am going to use name equals to username. I'll copy the username and I am going to say @name equals to username. Now this will locate my username input text box. Now if I say /self, it should select the username input text box again because it is a self node. It is selecting itself. So colon colon input type. The type of the tag is input. So input. Now I'm not sure if this XPath has worked correctly because it was already highlighted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect some other element such as password input text box. Okay. And I'm going to write the code again. /input iterate name equals to username /self colon colon input. I'm just writing this so that I can show you that it worked properly. So the highlight shifted from the password input text box to username input text box. So this worked correctly. The second access is child. I'm going to use child access to locate the username input text box. For that, I'm going to first inspect this input text box. Here, the corresponding HTML tag for the input text box is input name equals to username, size 10 and type text. Now, for locating the input text box using child access, I need to make my parent or ancestor node as my context node. Then only I can use child relation. So if I see the parent of input text box, it does not have any attribute that is unique. Again, the parent of td is tr and there is no other attribute in the tr tag. So I cannot use any attribute condition to locate the parent or the ancestor for the input node. So what I'm going to do, I need to use the absolute XPath. But the absolute XPath is quite long, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is, if you see here, I have this table t body 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 times, and then I have form/table/t body. There is no such combination before this which says form/table/t body. This is unique path. So I will delete this extra and add / so that I can make it as my relative XPath. Now here I need to select which node, my tr or td node as my parent node. So let's make this td as my parent node. So this. So it has selected this td as my parent node. Since the td acts as my context node, I need to use /child so that I can select this input text box. So I'm going to say /child colon colon. What is the tag type of this? It is input. So input. Now this will select the input text box because td will be the parent here, which is the context node. The child of this td is which tag? Input tag, and the corresponding element for this tag is username input text box. So that should be our output, and that is our output here. If I say here, for example, if I remove this td and I go to the tr, for example, I say tr. Now this tr is selected. Now in order to select this input text box, what I can write as? I can write as /child because we have to use child access. But what should be the tag path? It should be td/input. It cannot be input because there is no input direct child under tr. But we have an indirect path for getting the input. You can write it as td/input. So this will locate the element having this tag path. So when I click enter, it has successfully selected the username input text box. Our third access is following. For following, I want to locate these two input text box, that is username input text box and password input text box. For that, I'm going to make the username label as my current node, and then I will apply following to it so that it selects this two input text box. So let's inspect this label first. So it is here. In order to locate this label, we can use text function. So first the tag is font. So we are going to enter font. Then the condition, I'm going to use contains function. So under contains function, it takes two parameters. First the attribute, then the value. Since there is no such attribute for this, I'm going to use text function. If you remember, we used text for text node. So text function, it will return all the text of the text node. If it contains user, then it will select this particular username label. So let's see if this works correctly. Yes, it is highlighted here. Now let's move to following. So slash following colon. Now when I say following, the following of TD is this input username. It will also have this as following, the password. It will also have this TD with div, then this input type. So you can see all these three have one common thing, that is input. So if I write following as input, if I say input, it should select all the three elements: username input text box, password input text box, and sign in button. Enter. Yes, if you see, it has highlighted all the three elements. But if you want only this two text box, what you can do is, if you see here, the path for username input text box is td/input. For password also it is td/input. However, for sign in button, the path is td/div/input. So if I write td/input here, I will get only the first two input text box. I will not get sign in button because the path for sign in button is td/div/input. So let's try td/input. So I got this two input text box as my output. The fourth access is preceding. In preceding, we select the nodes that appear before the context node. So in following, we select the nodes that appear after the current node, whereas in preceding, we select the nodes that appear before the current node. Again, we cannot select here ancestor, attribute, and namespace nodes. You have to remember this. The syntax is similar, just that preceding : tag name. Now let's consider an example where I'm saying input tag, directly input tag. I have three input tags and the condition is type equal to image. So I have this input whose type is equals to image. Now I'm saying /preceding. When I say preceding, it will select all these nodes that is highlighted as part of the output. So any node that appears before the input node will come under the preceding output, but it will not select the tr and td because they are the parent. Now I have said : input. So under this I have two input tags, name equals to username and name equals to password. Username input text box and password input text box. So the output will be both the input text box. I will take one more example. In this I am saying // input. So the tag is input and what is the condition? @type equals to image. So out of this three input, which is the input that has attribute type equals to image? It is this element. Then I am saying preceding. So this input becomes our context node and then we have to select the preceding of this context node. So this all things comes under the preceding of this input node. Then I am saying input to. Now under this highlighted section, I have two nodes whose tags are input. First username, second password. Then I'm saying 2. So I'm using index 2. How you do indexing in XML tree? You always start from the current node, then you move in the direction of your search. So my current node is input image and I am moving in the upward direction, that is up in the tree. So my input name equals to password. This node will have index 1 and input name equals to username, this node will have index 2. So your output will be input name username, which is the username input text box. So this completes the preceding access. Let's see the preceding access. As in the following, we made username as the context node and then applied following for selecting this input text box. For preceding, I will make sign in button as my current node and I will try to locate the password input text box. So let's locate the sign in button. So inspect. So I can use name equals to login as my condition. So my relative XPath will be input @name attribute equals to login. So copy this login value and paste it here. So this is working properly because it has highlighted the sign in button. Now I want to apply preceding to it. So /preceding : So now the preceding of this sign in button will be the password, will be the username input text box, but I want to select only password input text box. So as I said, when you want to use indexing, you have to first start from the current node and then move in the direction of the search. So my current node is sign in button. So we are going to start the indexing from the direction where we are moving. So the first input that comes here is password. Its index will be 1. When I say username, its index will be 2. So when I say here input tag, it will select the input text box. However, when I say 1, it will select the password input text box. Let's enter and see it. Yes, it has highlighted password. If I say 2, I should get the username input text box. Yes, I'm getting the username input text box. The next access is following sibling. Following sibling selects all the nodes that have same parent as the context node and appear after the context node. Therefore, the output of following sibling will be the nodes that satisfy two conditions. First one, they should be sibling. That is, they should have same parent as the current node. Second, they should appear after the current node. For example, TR1, TR2 and TR3, all three are sibling because they have same parent, that is stable body. If I consider TR1 as my context node, TR2 and TR3 will be the output of following sibling because they appear after TR1 as well as they are sibling of TR1 because of the same parent. However, if I see here, TD1 and TD3 are not sibling because they have two different parents, TR1 and TR2 respectively. So if I say following sibling of TD1, my output will be TD2 because TD2 has the same parent as TD1, that is TR1, and it appears after TD1. However, TD3, 4, 5 will not be the output because they belong to different parent. Let's consider the syntax. The syntax is /tag name attribute equals to value following sibling. There should be hyphen between following and sibling, : tag name. Now here is an example that I am going to explain for better understanding. /tr. Now there are 3 TR, so it can be any of the TR. Then I'm saying TD text equals to username. So any TD node where text function is equals to username is true, that node will be selected as the current node. So this is the node, that is username label. Then I'm saying following sibling. Now it has only one sibling, that is this TD2. After that, I'm saying which type of tag. I'm saying TD tag. So this will be the tag that will be selected. So TD, this whole will be the output of this XPath expression. Let's consider one more example. Now I'm saying #input. How many input nodes are there? Only 3. then there is a condition in that where it says name is equals to username. So this is the only input that has attribute name equals to username. So this will act as our current node. Then I'm saying following sibling, but this node does not have any sibling. It is the only child under TD. So output of following sibling is nothing. When the output of the following sibling is no matches, there is no question of selecting TD/input. So your output will be no matches. The next access is preceding sibling access. It selects all the nodes that have same parent as the context node and appear before the context node. So the nodes satisfying both the condition will be the output of preceding sibling. For example, if I consider tr3 to be my context node, then tr1 and 2 are the sibling as well as they appear before tr3. So tr1 and tr2 will be the output of preceding sibling. The syntax is /tag name attribute equals to value / preceding sibling : tag name. If I consider this example, /table, then table body, then I'm saying tr3. So this is a tr3 node. Then I'm saying preceding sibling. Now preceding sibling of tr3 is which? tr1 and tr2. Out of this two output, I am saying to select the node of type tr1/td. So tr1/td, tr2/tds. So under tr1 we have how many tds? 2. So this 2 node will be the output. Under tr2, how many nodes are there? There are 2 nodes of td type. So the output will be these 2 nodes. So under this 2tr we got the 4td, and this 4td will be the output because we are selecting the tag of td. So we got this 4 output. Now let's consider one more example where I am saying same thing. It is almost similar, just that I have appended /input tag at the end. When I say /input tag, tr/td/input. So how many nodes satisfy this path condition? So tr/td/input, this username satisfies that path condition. Then tr/td/input, this. So both of this under preceding sibling satisfy the tag path condition. So this two will be the output of our this XPath. So this completes the following and preceding siblings. Let's try following sibling and preceding sibling. Following sibling and preceding sibling come into picture when we are working with the group web elements such as drop-down box or radio button or combo box. For following and preceding sibling, I am going to work today with the birthday drop-down box. First, we are going to see following sibling. For following sibling, I am going to make the birthday month as my current node and try to locate the following sibling of it. So let's inspect the birthday month. If you can see here, the relative XPath is auto-generated. Why? Because I have unselected the generate absolute XPath option. So when you tick this, you get the absolute XPath. When you untick it, you get the relative XPath automatically. Now it is already selected as the current node. I do not need to write the relative XPath. It is already generated. Now I will append following sibling ::. Now the following sibling of the month drop down is day drop down and year drop down, because all these three nodes have the same parent span. So I need to write the tag name here of the sibling. So the tag name will be select. Now if I enter, I should be able to select the day and the year drop down. So both the drop down are selected. Now if I say year in the place of month, there is no sibling after the year. We have sibling of year, but they appear before it, not after. So the output of this should be no matches. When I enter, I get no matching nodes. Now we'll see preceding sibling. For preceding sibling, I'm going to make this year node as my current node and try to locate its preceding sibling. Here I already have my year drop down as current node. I just need to change this to preceding. Now preceding sibling : select, because my month and date drop down are also of select type. So it has selected the month and the day because they appear before the year drop down and they are also the sibling. The seventh XPath axis is ancestor. Ancestor selects all the ancestors such as parent, grandparent, great-grandparent of the context node beginning with the parent node and traveling through to the root node. So the ancestor axis will select the node starting from the parent node till the root node of the context node. The syntax is // tag name @attribute equals to value / ancestor : tag name. Now here is the example that I'm going to explain, which says // input. Now I have 3 input nodes. Under that I'm saying name equal to username. So this will be the node that will act as our current node, that is username input text box. Then I'm saying ancestor. Now the ancestor of this input is this td, then tr, then table body till the root. You have to move from the parent of the context node till the root node. So td, tr, table body and the table, all 4 nodes will be the ancestor of our this context node. Now I am saying : table. Out of this 4 nodes, which node is table? The root node, or you can say the topmost node. So this node will be our output. So the complete table will come under the root node table. So I have printed the whole tree here. Now we have another version of ancestor, which is ancestor or self. It is similar to ancestor, just that here we are able to select the context node as well. When you say ancestor, it will select node from the parent node till the root node. And then you are saying or self. When you say self, it means it will also select your current node. So the syntax is // tag name attribute equals to value ancestor or self : tag name. Now let's see an example. In this I am saying // input, again this name equals to username, so this node will be the current node. Then I am saying ancestor or self. When I say ancestor or self, it will select the ancestor first, okay, which we have already seen in previous case. Then I am saying or self. So self is input, name equals to username node. So this will be the output of ancestor or self. Then I am saying : which tag? tr tag. Now out of this 5 node, which node is tr? It is this node, tr1. So tr1 will be our output. For ancestor axis, I will try to locate the ancestor of this username input text box. So first inspect this username input text box. It is this. We'll write the relative XPath for it. Input @name equals to username. Okay, so it has located the username input text box. Then I will apply ancestor. So ancestor : if I say star, it will select all the ancestor of this input box irrespective of the tag. Click enter. So all the ancestor till the root node is selected. The root node is HTML here and it is selected. Now if I say here table, so all the ancestor with the tag table will be selected. So we got the 6 matching nodes for that. Table 1, table 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now let's see ancestor or self. If I write here ancestor or self, but I'm not going to say table, I'm going to mention the tag name of the node itself, of the input node, so that I can see it selects the self node. So I will write here input. So it has selected the input user text box. Now we are going to see descendant concept. The first access under this is descendant. Descendant selects all the children of the context node. All the children includes children and grandchildren and so on. When I say children, grandchildren, it means that descendant will select all the nodes starting from the children of the context node till the bottommost grandchildren. The syntax is /tag name @attribute equals to value /descendant : tag name. Let's see the example in which I am saying /table body, which is this node. Then I am saying tr. So tr will select all the 3 tr node because I have not provided the index here. So by default it will select all the 3 nodes. Then I am saying descendant of tr. Now descendant of all the 3 tr will be selected. Therefore this section will be selected. Then other 2 sections will also be selected. So this 3 will be the output of descendant of this context node. After that I am saying : td. So I have 5 td. Then I am saying /input. So which of the node satisfy the tag path condition of td/input will be our output. So we have only 3 nodes that satisfy that condition, that is td/input, this node, td/input, that is password node, then td/input submit node. So username, password and submit node will be our output, because we need output of which type? Input tag type, and its path should be td/input. Now we will see the other version of descendant, that is descendant or self. In this we select context node and all its descendant, similar to ancestor or self. Syntax /tag name attribute equals to value /descendant or self : tag name. Let's consider an example. In the example I am saying /table body, which is this node. Then I am saying tr. Since I have not specified the index, all the 3 tr will be selected. So all these 3 tr will act as your context node. Then I am saying descendant or self. So by descendant, the nodes within the red loop will be selected. By self, the nodes within the yellow loop will be selected. So the nodes within both the loops will be the output of descendant or self. Then I am saying tr tag. Now there are 3 nodes with the tag tr. So this 3 tr will be the output of this XPath expression. Let's consider one more example. In this example I am saying /table body /tr2. Now this is table body. Then I am saying tr2. So now this node will be our current node or context node. Then I am saying descendant or self. When I said descendant or self, the descendant of this is td and the self node. So this will be the output of descendant or self. Then I am saying tr. So within this loop, this node has tr tag. So this node will be the output. Now for understanding descendant concept, I am going to locate the username, password input text box and sign in button as my output. First we'll see descendant and then we will see descendant or self. For that, first I will inspect the username input text box, which is this. Here you can see, in order to locate this input text box as my output, I need to select the parent node to be my current node, so that I can apply descendant on it then I will be able to get the children of the parent node. Now here the parent of input is TD and then the parent of the TD is TR. Now there are 5 TR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Under second TR we have username text box. Under third TR we have password text box. Under fourth TR we have the sign in button. Name login. Now I will make this TR to be my context node and then I will apply descendant on it. Then after applying descendant I will get all the 5 TR as my output. After that I will use tag input as my condition so that I can get all these 3 web element as my output. So let's start. First we'll make the TR as our context node. So we'll remove this, then we'll remove the TD and input. And we'll say TR. So when we say TR, all the 5 TR are selected. Now I am saying descendant colon. What should be the type of this web element that we want to select? Input. So input. So we got the 3 matching nodes and username, password, input text box and sign in button is highlighted. Let's see descendant or self. For descendant or self, I will write here descendant or self. So the current node is TR. So I'm going to enter the tag TR. When I say TR, all the TR node should be selected because when we say TR, TR becomes the current node. And descendant or self means it will select descendant as well as self. Then based on the tag, it will filter the result. So my tag is the TR, so it will select all the TR as the output. If I say here TR2, I am using index 2, it will select the second row. Click enter. So second row is highlighted, which is username label and username input text box. If I say here TR/TD/input, I will get the username input text box. Therefore, you can try various way of writing the XPath to achieve your output. The next XPath access is parent. As the name indicates, it will select parent of your current node. The syntax is /tag name @attribute equals to value /parent : tag name. Now let's see the example. Here I'm saying /input. So there are 3 input nodes. And then I'm saying @type equals to image. So this is the node that satisfies the condition. And this submit button node will act as your current node. Then I'm saying /parent. So parent of this input is which node? It is a TD node. So this node will be your output. Now I'm saying asterisk. When you say star or asterisk, it means it will select any type of node. It doesn't matter if it is TD here or it is TR here or it is div or font, any type of node, it will be selected. When I specify here as TR, now it is going to select the parent whose tag is TR. Since the parent of input is TD, that XPath will give no matches because there is no parent of input as TR. Since I have written asterisk, I get the parent which matches any condition. So the output is TD. Till now we have seen 11 XPath access. The rest 2 access are attribute and namespace. Attribute indicates attributes of context node which are denoted by @ symbol. So we have been using this attribute in every XPath expressions and in every XPath access. Now comes the namespace access. It will select the namespace node. Nodes having the attribute as XML/NS are the namespace node. So using namespace access, we can select namespace node. Now for parent, I will try to locate the parent of the sign in button. So let's inspect this sign in button. Now the parent of the sign in button is div. So if I write here /input because it is the tag of the sign in button, then @name, its value is login, Then so it has highlighted the sign in button. Now I'm going to say parent colon asterisk. So the parent of the input tag should be selected. So parent of the input tag is div. It is highlighted here. We got the one matching node and sign in button is highlighted. If I say here div, then also we should get the same output because the parent of the input is div. Now if we write here table, what should be the output? The output should be no matches because the parent of the input is not table, it is div. So the output will be no matching nodes. Therefore, this completes our XPath Axes. I hope this tutorial was useful for understanding XPath. Please try writing the XPath expression so that you become more comfortable and more confident about writing the XPath correctly. Please do like and share my video and subscribe my channel.